हाय एवरीवन, आज का वीडियो एक बहुत ही सिंपल सा Q&A वीडियो होने वाला है। मैंने आप लोगों को YouTube में एज वेल एज Instagram में पूछा था टू आस्क मी ऑल योर बर्निंग क्वेश्चंस बिकॉज आई डू गेट ऑल ऑफ दीज क्वेश्चंस इन माय DM, sometimes on my video comments and sometimes on my email. So I thought of picking up which are the most common ones and then answering them all in one video. If you are watching this video for the first time, a little bit about me. मेरा नाम सौमी है. I'm an IIT Delhi and ISB Hyderabad graduate. इस चैनल पे मैं अपने करियर एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर करती हूँ जो कि मैंने accumulate किया है in the last 10 years while working in investment banks and management consulting space. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. And now starting with the questions. The first question that I have is, what is the difference in work culture in Singapore and India, and where do you want to be working in future? Okay, so मैं honestly बताऊँ ना, मैंने कभी Indian markets में काम ही नहीं किया है. मतलब even when I was working in India, it was a middle office role and technically I was working for US based clients. So literally I have no idea कि Indian clients के लिए काम करना कैसा होता है. मेरे कुछ दोस्त हैं जो लोग वहाँ पे काम करते हैं. They tell me that it's a lot more bureaucratic in that sense. Some clients are difficult as well, less structure. So वो सब issues है. But I can definitely tell you about the work culture in Singapore. Singapore के लोग जो है, I mean, of course, it is Asia. So यहाँ के लोग काफी similar है to Indians. In fact, a lot of Indians also stay here. So the work environment is quite hierarchical and a very strong sense of culture as well. Southeast Asia में काफी सारे countries है like Indonesia, Philippines, and a lot of these people will want to work with लोकल पीपल क्योंकि उनको लैंग्वेज वगैरह के चक्कर में उनको आसान हो जाता है उनके साथ काम करना. A lot of cultural aspects, it's hierarchical. I mean, junior people don't really speak up against seniors, and that's very different from what I've seen in the West, because West में तो everyone's from the junior most level itself, they're very aggressive, very independent, good leadership qualities, etc. Also Asia में लोग बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग होते हैं, जस्ट लाइक इंडियंस, यू नो, दे आर वेरी एकेडमिकली ओरिएंटेड एज वेल. डॉक्टर्स, इंजीनियर टाइप के प्रोफेशंस में उन्हें मेनली जाना होता है. सो या, दैट्स लिटिल बिट अबाउट द वर्क कल्चर. The second question is how you met your husband. And there have been, I think this is one of the most common questions that I was asked. How did you and Akhil meet? How did you meet your husband? Tell us your story, blah, blah, blah. So maybe we will someday do a detailed video on that. But in short, me and Akhil, okay, let me firstly answer this once and for all, because a lot of people don't even know that we are married. So yeah, we are married. We met at IIT because we were, when we were at IIT Delhi, we were doing the same course. All of our classes were together, etc. Then after IIT, we also worked together in a bank for about 2 years. We were living in Bombay at that point of time. I think around that point of time is when we sort of seriously committed to each other. Yeah, that's about it. The next question is, I heard in one of your videos that you were more intrigued towards general management, but you opted for consulting in day one of your placement. Why? Okay, I'm going to link this video up here. But in short, even though I wanted to go in general management, no general management company really wanted to hire me on day one. And day one में मेरी consulting की job लग गई थी, तो उस time पे मैंने वो ले लिया था. That's a short answer. The next question is from Shivi. Hi, I like your videos. They're full of experience and learning. Thank you so much, Shivi. I wanted to ask if you can share your experience. What was your life in South Korea and how did you get in there? Okay, so for context, I went to South Korea a long time back when I was in IIT Delhi actually for a summer internship. And my stint in South Korea is an ideal example of how cold emailing can bring you opportunities. Now, how I went there was, first year, second year, third year, हर year के end में IIT Delhi में लोग internships करते थे. And one of the internships was compulsory, which was supposed to be in India itself. But in the other years, you could choose anything. You could find leads for yourself. So at the end of second year, I actually applied, like cold emailed a lot of universities कि मैं IIT की student हूँ, मैंने ये कर रखा है, मैं biochemical engineering में graduate हो रही हूँ. I can help you in ABC things. Do you want to hire me for a summer internship? And I got an offer that way from this institute, which is Seoul National University, SNU, in South Korea. I went there, spent about 2 months over there, living in a literally like a matchbox kind of a size of apartment, because my lab could afford only that at that point of time. But it was a very good experience. मेरा काम वहाँ पे टेक्निकली था कि वाइन एज इट एजेस उसका टेस्ट बेटर होता जाता है, राइट? एंड माई जॉब वॉज टू फाइंड आउट वॉट वर द कंपोजिशन चेंजेस, वाई द टेस्ट वॉज चेंजिंग एंड वाई इट वॉज गेटिंग बेटर. एंड मैं वाइन पीती ना अभी हूँ ना तब थी तो मेरे लिए काफ़ी डिफिकल्ट था. पहली बात तो मैं 1-2 वाइन पी डिफरेंट एज के, मुझे तो समझ ही नहीं आया क्या डिफरेंस है और मुझे इतना गंदा लगता था. बट एनीवे अपने लैबमेट्स को पिला पिला के थोड़ा बहुत कुछ काम मैंने किया. ऑनेस्टली दिस स्टेंट वाज नॉट एज मच अबाउट लर्निंग, बट इट वाज अबाउट दिस होल एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ वर्किंग विद डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ people, like living and working in a different country altogether. Korea is one of those places जहाँ पे English बिल्कुल ही नहीं बोलते हैं, तो वहाँ पे मुझे काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्टीज भी हुई. एंड दिस वाज ऑल्सो द फर्स्ट टाइम आई वाज स्टेपिंग आउटसाइड द कंट्री. उसके पहले मैं कभी भी कंट्री के बाहर नहीं गई थी, इंडिया के बाहर नहीं गई थी. दिस वाज माय फर्स्ट इंटरनेशनल ट्रिप. एंड मैं कभी ग्रोसरी शॉपिंग में जाती थी, लेबल्स देखने की कोशिश करती थी, क्योंकि कई चीज़ें ना वहाँ पे मतलब इट डजंट सूट योर इंडियन टेस्ट पैलेट ऑल्सो. मुझे कुछ समझ ही नहीं आता था वो लेबल्स देख के, बिकॉज देयर वाज नथिंग इन इंग्लिश एब्सोल्युटली. बट ठीक है, that was a good learning. I spent a lot of time taking trips to all of these shopping areas in South Korea and buying cosmetics. And I remember buying a lot of stuff because this was the first time I was actually getting some good amount of money, right? Buying stuff and gifts for my parents and my brother for the first time. So it was fun. And thanks for asking this question. It took me back in the memory lane. Next question is, do you feel that you have followed the ideal path in career? For example, not running a startup or to do something that you like doing. Honestly, I don't know why you would assume that starting up was something that would have been my ideal path. I have had all these crazy ideas, okay, but I have never wanted to start my own venture because I know for a fact that उसमें काफ़ी मेहनत लगती है, काफ़ी कमिटमेंट ऑफ योर एनर्जी एंड मेंटल हेल्थ एंड resources, which I don't know, I never felt like doing that ever. And talking about things that you like doing, I feel like I find ways to do that. For example, right now I'm creating content over here which is not my career, and it is going to take a long time before I can in any way make money out of this. But still I'm doing this, investing my time in this because I see a future and I like doing this as well. In short, that's the answer. Rishabh is asking, because I have been following the same ideal path set by parents, but I'm planning to follow my own. You should follow your own path. For me, my path was set by my parents till the time I entered into IIT. But I don't hold it against them or blame them, because if not IIT, मुझे कोई idea नहीं थी कि और क्या करना है. मतलब I had no idea कि क्या करना है, तो उन्होंने बोल दिया IIT जाओ, तो I was more than happy to prepare and go there. उसके बाद एक बार मैं वहाँ चली गई, उसके बाद my parents literally had no say in what kind of career choices I should make in life. उसके बाद I have pretty much done what I have felt like. I mean, sometimes of course I could have committed mistakes as well, because उस टाइम पे जितना पता होता है तो उसी के बेसिस पे decisions लेते हो, right? But never really felt that off, to be honest. Another question from Rishabh. Please talk about the journey from a small town in MP to Singapore. What motivated you? What were the setbacks and how you brought yourself up? Thank you for asking this question. For context, people who don't know, I have actually spent a lot of my time, about 10 years, in a very, very small town in Madhya Pradesh, because my father was posted over there. If you ask me about motivation, honestly, कोई motivation नहीं था. Motivation इंसान के पास तब होता है जब उन्हें पता होता है कि बाहर लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, एंड उनको दिखते हैं वो स्टोरीज ऑफ पीपल वर्किंग हार्ड एंड अचीविंग समथिंग. मैं तो अपनी दुनिया में खुश थी. मेरे पास कोई एक्सेस नहीं था बाहर के इन्फॉर्मेशन का, ना ही मेरे में इतनी इंटरनल मोटिवेशन थी कि मैं आगे बढ़ के वो चीज़ें वो इन्फॉर्मेशन अक्वायर करने की कोशिश करूँ. सो देयर वाज एब्सोल्युटली नो मोटिवेशन. इट वाज जस्ट फॉलोइंग व्हाट वाज कमिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी. बट वंस आई केम आउट of that place, I think after that I have been motivated by a lot of things happening around me, because that is the time when I was talking to people, I was seeing people going and achieving things as well. I was seeing what is truly possible if you put your mind and heart to something. So that's when all the motivation started in whatever I want to do, essentially. Skills required to learn before joining MBA college for various specializations for non-engineers. Okay, so this is quite a common question. A lot of my mentees have reached out asking, can you do something before your MBA college starts to prepare yourself? And the short answer is you don't really have to. It's not necessary for you to spend your time doing that. And honestly, MBA is less about learning these hard skills, but more about getting the practical skills. So you can only learn things by doing things, right? But otherwise, अगर तुम्हारे पास थोड़ा सा time है to spend, then you can always spend on technical things like finance हो गया, क्योंकि accounting is technical. Then it could be statistics. Statistics में concepts होते हैं, economics में concepts होते हैं, theory होती है जिसमें थोड़ा बहुत समझना पड़ सकता है. It is not as focused on practical learning. So उस तरह के courses में you can try to get yourself ahead of your peers. But if you don't have time, don't fret about it. You really don't need to. How do you deal with a process that is difficult and boring, but at the same time it's important also to go through it? मुझे लगता है मेरे लिए ये प्रोसेस है वर्कआउट का प्रोसेस. डेली वर्कआउट इज अ स्ट्रगल बिकॉज इट्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी. It's also boring, but at the same time, I know that I have to do it. I'll share with you a few lessons from this book called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, you should. It tells you that to get done with these boring things, right, one thing that you can do is set a fixed time for it so that it becomes more of a habit for you. For example, सुबह हम उठते हैं तो brush करना is more like a habit, right? उसी तरह से if you set a specific time, for me, workout, for example, I try to do it in the morning. If you set up a specific time, that keeps you in the rhythm of doing things. And another thing that can be done is rewarding yourself in some way after you have gone through that whole boring process. For example, I'll tell myself कि आज अगर मैंने workout किया, then I will give myself a banana chia seed pudding. If I don't go and work out, I'll eat something boring. Okay, so that's a small reward which I'll give myself, and that pushes me to go and get those boring things done. Sameer asks, are you involved in any physical activity to keep yourself fit mentally? Do you get enough time for your family, parents, relatives, and everyone? Relatives, honestly, I don't care as much. For my family, my parents, my husband, yes, I do take out time. Personal life is very important for me, okay? It's probably more important for me than career. So obviously, whatever is your priority, you have to take out time for that, and I do that. Are you involved in any physical activity? मेरे लिए बहुत struggle है, जैसे कि मैंने बोला. But I try to swim 3 times a week for about 30 minutes, and 2 times a week I try to do some like home strength kind of things. Sometimes I go for a walk, long walks and runs, but not necessarily enjoying some of those things. So yeah, 5 times a week I try to do some workout. Sometimes I manage only 4, sometimes 6. Samritha asks, in one of your videos, you mentioned the skill of filtering out important information from noise. Can you please let us know how you do that? Any specific tools, research methodology, etc. I feel decluttering noise is a very important life skill. And that's so true. Thanks, Amrita, for asking this question. One way to approach this could be having full clarity on what it is that you need. Like, what is the objective of anything, be it a meeting or be it reading through an article where you're trying to get something of value. What is the objective? What is the end objective? अगर उसमें full clarity है, then you will be able to pick up the things which are relevant for you while filtering out everything else very quickly. And that, I think, is the best way to go about it. ये वाला strategy मैं obviously अपने काम में तो follow करती हूँ, क्योंकि कई बार बहुत सारे articles वगैरह पढ़ने होते हैं to figure out what are the important things. But when I'm taking notes in a meeting, also I like focus on this quite a lot. Maybe I'll make a video on how I take notes in my office meetings. But what I would usually do is keep a section for relevant stuff. And जो मुझे पता होता है कि इस मीटिंग से मुझे ये 3 चीज़ें तो चाहिए ही, उसका जब भी डिस्कशन हो रहा होता है, I note down in that specific section. Everything else which is not as important for me at that point of time or for that specific मीटिंग जो मैं ऑब्जेक्टिव सोच के गई हूँ या गोल्स सोच के गई हूँ, वो सब मैं किसी और सेक्शन में लिखती हूँ, एंड दैट हेल्प्स मी प्रायोरिटाइज, एंड दैट कुड बी वन ऑफ द वेज. Can't think of any better ways, but if any of you guys actually have good ways to, remove noise, then please leave them in the comments. I would love to know. It's such a beautiful question. And honestly, I've never thought about it very structurally as well. Anyway, moving on. Sejal asked whether a gap of 6 to 8 months in your CV is okay if spent for GMAT and CFA preparation. See, 6 to 8 months gap on your CV is not difficult to justify. Okay, so uske bare mein mat socho. There are a lot of ways to justify. I had made a video on career gaps. You can watch that for some inspiration. But if you ask me whether it is okay to take that gap for GMAT or CFA preparation only, I would say not really, because you can also use this time for something else, right? CFA, GMAT, ये इतने difficult exams नहीं है कि you have to take full gaps. A lot of people prepare for these during college or with their work itself. So if you are taking gap for these exams, okay, do that, but at the same time do something else, some other kind of skill building, which also you can talk about during a next job interview or an MBA interview. Next question is, can ISB make your career in investment banking? Now, ISB is not one of those colleges which is known for investment banking roles. So the short answer is probably no. IIM, ABC, these are the only 3 colleges in India that will give you a good career in investment banking. Having said that, ISB से होके भी तुम investment bank में जा तो सकते हो in different kind of roles, and probably the path to a front end role in an investment bank is going to be slightly longer if you're graduating from ISB. All these bulge bracket investment banks like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, they don't really come to ISB for M&A kind of roles, investment banking kind of roles. Tarun asks what to do if you don't have any extracurricular achievements. See, I want to tell you a little bit about why people do extracurricular activities, right? One is it can tell you a lot about your own self. You will understand a lot about what you are good at, what interests you, what are some of your strengths. And the other thing is, of course, if you're doing extracurricular achievement or rather activities, it signals that you can do multiple things which are outside your job description. And that tells people that you can be a good leader at some point. And that's valuable for, say, business schools or for different kind of jobs. So these are the reasons why people would do extracurricular activities. But if you don't have them in your profile so far, what's stopping you from starting now? You can always start now, and you can also compensate for lack of extracurricular activities in other ways. When I work with a lot of my mentees for their MBA journeys, a lot of people have very solid academic profiles. They have done great in their work life. They have some really good leadership examples in their work life, which they talk about rather than extracurricular achievements. And that's okay as well. How did you decide that MBA is the next step you want to take after already passing from IIT and having a good job? So personally, अगर आप मेरे से पूछो तो IIT के बाद भी मैं जिस रोल में थी, राइट, जब मैंने MBA का डिसीजन लिया, तब मैं एक मिडिल ऑफिस रोल में थी, एंड वहाँ से फ्रंट ऑफिस रोल में मूव करने के लिए मेरे पास 1-2 ऑप्शंस थे. एक तो मैं वहाँ पे कंटिन्यू करूँ एंड इवेंचुअली आई मूव टू अ फ्रंट ऑफिस रोल इन दैट फील्ड इटसेल्फ, या फिर मैं MBA करके किसी फ्रंट ऑफिस रोल में चली जाऊँ. एंड आई चोज द MBA पाथ बिकॉज फर्स्टली मुझे फाइनेंस के फील्ड में बहुत लॉन्ग टर्म नहीं रहना था, ये मुझे काफी क्लियर हो गया था, तो इसलिए MBA मेड मोर सेंस टू मी. हैविंग सेड दैट, आई मीन मैं भी एक रैट रेस में थी यार, मतलब उस टाइम पे मुझे इतना आइडिया नहीं था, तो मैंने MBA किया विदाउट इवन हैविंग फुल क्लैरिटी, जो अब मुझे पता है कि आई शुड हैव हैड बेटर क्लैरिटी बिफोर डूइंग MBA. सो या, आई मीन डोंट फॉलो माई पाथ, यू शुड डू एन MBA ओनली इफ यू आर फुल्ली थॉट इट थ्रू. एंड उस टाइम पे थोड़ा सा मतलब अपॉर्चुनिटीज थे भी मोर बिजनेसी काइंड ऑफ रोल्स के लिए फॉर MBA ग्रेजुएट्स ओनली. आजकल आई थिंक इट्स बिकमिंग मोर सीमलेस एंड लॉट ऑफ अंडरग्रेड्स ऑल्सो get into businessy roles. So the importance of MBA is becoming less and less relevant, I would say. Next question is it worth doing MBA from baby IIMs? Yes, baby IIMs are good colleges as well. I mean, of course, they might not be like in the topmost, but they also, because of the brand value of IIM, they can get good companies. So if you don't make it into the OG IIMs, then you can consider baby IIMs as well. Are you planning to retire early? Thank you, Swati, for asking that. I mean, I definitely don't want to continue working in corporates forever. So if that is called retiring early, then yes, I would probably retire in the next 6-7 years, but I'll continue doing something, थोड़ा बहुत कुछ करती रहूंगी उसके बाद, so that I can get some money and I can live a life. How to justify a bad academic score? Honestly, justifying is the wrong term to use for a bad academic score. Why would you want to justify something that you are not proud of, right? You shouldn't, but there are ample ways to compensate for it. You can, अगर तुम्हारा academic score college में बेकार है, you can try and get a really good academic score in the next education that you will be doing, maybe like a post-grad or something. Or you can also compensate for your bad academic score by excelling in something else. It could be an extracurricular activity, it could be case competitions, it could be anything outside the world of academics also. So yeah, just think about it that way. Don't feel the pressure of having to justify your academic score everywhere. It's okay. Are coaching centers needed in CAT preparation? Okay, so the short answer is it really depends on what works for you. Some people I know might find coaching centers helpful. Some people learn better when they are taught by someone else, while others do more of self-study. So that's a personal choice. But having said that, I would definitely say कि coaching centers का जो test papers होता है, practice papers होता है, that everyone should use if you're preparing for CAT. Because you are not the only person who is going there. There are like, I don't know, thousands and thousands of others who are giving those exams. And when you get the results of those exams, you will see where you lie. It will be a good comparison कि तुम्हें और कितना improve करना है, अभी तुम्हारा level क्या है, which alone by self-study you will not be able to do. And plus जो इतने सारे access है test papers का, वो तुम्हें coaching center से ही मिल सकता है, right? So even if you're not going for the actual classes of coaching center for CAT, you should definitely go for the test papers. Okay, I think those were all the questions that I had selected from the entire list. Now, कुछ questions बहुत ही personal थे, बहुत ही personal situation related, इसलिए मैंने वो answer नहीं किए यहाँ पे. I tried to keep it more generic, which can benefit more number of people. So yeah, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you have anything to share, any video ideas, do leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to see you soon. Till then, bye.